I absolutely loved Hyrule Warriors. Defeating a large amount of enemies with my favorite Zelda characters spread out from the various amount of the games in the series was so much fun. When the teaser for Fire Emblem Warriors dropped, I was super excited. I was thinking, oh wow, my favorite characters from another one of my favorite franchises coming together. I can't wait to play as Roy, Ike, Marth, all these characters that I learned to love and grow. However, that excitement started to go away when Nintendo started sharing more details about Fire Emblem Warriors. Seeing a large amount of Fate characters shoehorned into this game really halted my excitement. It's no secret, I am not a fan of Fire Emblem Fates at all and its characters. With the news of just Shadow Dragon, Awakening, and Fate characters being the only playable characters, my excitement kind of died out. I know that they did this to avoid sword characters, but a lot of these characters in Fire Emblem Warriors are sword characters. Truly, I was hoping for an experience to play with my characters from other games. And I didn't want to be a schmuck and be extremely biased towards Fate, so I decided, hey, I'm going to avoid the game. However, Nintendo was really kind enough to give me a review copy, and I'm glad I did, because if I didn't, I would have missed out on an extremely fun game. Fire Emblem Warriors plays exactly like Hyrule Warriors. You go around defeating large amount of enemies with flashy moves to take over forts and turn the tide of battle. In addition, before battle and during, you can control where your allies can attack similar to typical Fire Emblem gameplay. You can also switch between characters on the fly and really change the tide of battle. This really stands out from other warrior games, especially Hyrule Warriors. Fire Emblem Weapons Triangle is also included within this game to prevent making one weapon dominant. So being able to switch between characters is extremely fun to help you aid in the battle to get the weapon advantage. Overall, this is one of the better Musou games I have played in the gameplay department. With all this, you get an enjoyable gameplay experience that is great for pick up and play. Story mode and history mode will keep you occupied to level up your characters, get gear and weapons, and add more heroes to your army. However, I do feel like the story mode is completely forgettable, and the Shadow Dragon characters are just thrown halfway in your story campaign. I get it, a huge focus is on Awakening and Fates during it being the most popular games at the moment, but it would have been nice to at least get, one more or two more characters from other games. Yes, I know you do get Lyn and Celica in history mode, but I would have loved them to show up in the story somehow. Hyrule Warriors at least get Faiā, Volga, and Wizzo for unique villains who are present throughout the whole campaign rather than near the end of it. The lack of the villains is also kind of a bit of a drawback. Even with my gripes of the content of the game, the soundtrack is amazing and worth listening to. Just like Hyrule Warriors, the music will get your blood pumping as you defeat endless amount of enemies. The game also runs at 1080p 30 frames per second docked, but it can be downgraded to 720p to get 60 frames. The downgrade from 1080p to 720 is hardly noticeable, so it's worth to get the more frames per second as the game will run a lot smoother. During and after story mode, you'll be able to grind and max out your characters and weapons. You'll also be able to change your character's class just like you would do within the Fire Emblem games. The grind is extremely fun, and if you do it during story mode, things will be in your advantage. However, a large amount of the characters do feel the same, so I really just cherry picked the best units to aid myself in battle, unlike in Hyrule Warriors, where all the units were different and they felt a lot fun. Once DLC comes out, you'll be able to pick up more characters and more history mode maps that can really help with the replayability. Overall, Fire Emblem Warriors is an extremely fun game. Even though it's lacking in content, story, and replayability, it plays and looks better than Hyrule Warriors. If you're a fan of Musou games, this is definitely worth buying. If you're a fan of just the Fire Emblem series, I would at least try the game. Its combat and real-time tactics are extremely faithful to the Fire Emblem and Musou games it plays tribute to. Overall, Fire Emblem Warriors gets a total score of 78, giving it a C+ rank. This is one game you should at least definitely try, as it will be an enjoyable experience and keep you smiling.